then let's do it. And
Yes, sir. Can't see you though. But we're going. We're doing.
good morning. Hey, I'll pop open the camera even. Look at me. Ha ha. Here we
Oh,
are.
there you are.
Yeah, sorry about that. I remembered to do everything else. LMAO, nope. Beto. It's me more Monday. This cuck has got to go. Okay. Why are we talking about Beto? Why are we talking about beta? Robert Francis Beta Male Beto O frickin' Rourke? This shit burger. Oh my god. I didn't even bother to pull up the tweets. We'll talk about them a little bit. But I got some memes. We got some memes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Meme War Monday. Wake the hell up. It's time to go to work. But we're going to get you a little chuckle before you get out the door. So we're talking about Beto the Cuck O'Rourke. Cameron, why is Beto O'Rourke possibly the most evil current Democrat candidate?
Well, Tim Pool did a fantastic video about this whole thing, and the long and the short of it is the guy appears to be so ego driven. He has to be smart enough to know that he has no chance at becoming the nominee. So now he's just going to go big or go home, or rather, he's going to go big before he goes home. Even though his whole comment about, hell yes, we're going to take away your AR-15s, probably cost the Democrats whatever slim chance they had for winning in 2020. He just doesn't care. He's just going to keep doing the beta thing. And yeah, like it's shocking to
And
me.
just real quick, what is the beta thing other than, grossly violating the Second Amendment? Well, the beta thing is, well, it's standing on top of desks. It's getting arrested for serious crimes like burglary, right? Who is Beto O'Rourke? Who is this absolute madman who thinks he's throwing bombs at the opposition, but really he's just dropping Molotov cocktails down his own shorts? Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is Beto O'Rourke.
Oh no, that's beautiful. Oh, oh, dude, seriously, what is it about this man? Like, I just want to punch him. Like, he's that, he's that, he's that mid-level manager you have at work that you just pray takes things too far. He's
Man, you
that.
say?
This might be my favorite one out of all of them. That's hysterical. That is just that is yeah, that is creme de la creme stuff right there. Here's a little French for you on your Monday morning.
And if it's at all possible, I don't know how it's happened here, but Beto looks even more beta in this particular picture than usual.
Yeah, like seriously, he looks like one of the popular kids at school who was never quite the most popular, but understood how to ingratiate himself with like the quarterback and the head of the drama department and all those people. Like seriously, I I like the way Styx describes him. He's like some weird televangelist preacher, only he's not preaching the gospel. He's preaching socialism, and it's just so cringeworthy.
Now, in fairness, socialism is a religion every bit as much as Christianity is. That's not a claim on the validity of either religion, but by definitions, they have their saviors, they have their sacred text, they have their commandments, they have their blasphemies and their adherents and their infidels and their heretics. It's every bit a religion.
Yeah, but I mean, the man has turned himself into a meme. And yes, okay, technically you have to have a lot of faith in socialism, but I can point out a big difference between Christianity and socialism. Um, Christianity, when properly practiced, actually results in fewer deaths and more hungry people being fed. Socialism, when properly practiced, results in more people dying and more people going hungry. So there's that.
Interestingly, all the things that you just said about Christianity as a religion are also true of. There's another one. Capitalism.
Oh, yeah. The invisible hand of the market.
Welcome to the united theocracy of capitalism, where the dollar is Almighty God and possession are 9/10 of your commandments, and that's the way I like it.
Fair enough.
So,
I mean, but Chris, this guy's basically our age. This is a guy that when we were freshmen in high school was a junior or a senior.
oh
And
yeah, it does. Believe me, it aggravates me that I look at somebody that like this that's about my age, who, I mean, this example shows that if I had just spent my life doing drugs and committing crimes, I too could be a millionaire shilling for George Soros and attempting to shove my dumb ass into the highest office in the land. All
yeah,
I needed was a lot more drugs and some actual felonies.
yeah, no, dude, totally.
Instead, I went to serve my country and build a family and some businesses.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, but how do you, I mean, just what baffles me about this man is how he is simultaneously hyper aware of the reality he lives in and yet completely oblivious to the reality he lives in. There's part of me that thinks he's got to understand that he's a walking, talking meme, that like he is a joke. Like Beto O'Rourke walks into a bar. Nope, that's it. That's the setup and the punchline. I mean, because that's this guy. So I think there's two things here in specific regard to his hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s. I think on the one hand, what he did was he did push the Overton window. This is the further normalization of the fact that the government is allowed to just take things away from you. They call them buybacks, but you can't buy something back if you never sold it in the first place. Like, I sell you a pen, and then I want to buy the pen back, and so I give you twice the cost of the pen in order to entice you to sell it back to me. That is a buyback. But if I sell you a pen and then Johnny down the street says, I'll buy it back, and oh yeah, by the way, if you don't, I might break your knees, that's not a
Also, I'm not going
buyback.
to pay you the full value of the object.
Right.
Because they're, oh yeah, we're going to buy back your AR-15s. We're going to give you $100. I'm sorry. Uh, once again, because let me tell you about why I have an AR-15. For precisely the sort of situation where somebody tries to rob me. $100 for my rifle.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You got
Though,
$100, I'll give you $100 worth of bullets.
though I saw a fantastic meme from a guy that said, okay, you want to buy back my AR-15s? No problem. Cost you $1 million per rifle.
Yep.
And you're only allowed to buy one back a month.
Yep.
But while I do think that what he did was normalize In fact, I think this Overton window that we're looking at here is, I think that's too generous. I think it's definitely further to the left and to the right, because there's such a divide that's opening up between the two sides of the political spectrum. Don't give me that the left wing and the right wing fly the same bird bullshit. Just don't. Oh, there's not a nickel's worth of difference between the parties. No, there's not a nickel's worth of difference between the politicians. But hell yes, there is a nickel's worth of difference between the parties. One is collectivist, identitarian politics. The other one is individualist, meritocracy based capitalist. One gives you freedom to, and one gives you freedom from. And freedom from, that's not the one you want. It's not. Though, at least in the short term, Beta might have did us a favor, because I don't think there's any question that that soundbite about, hell yes, we're going to take away your AR-15s and AK-47s. I mean, that goes in every NRA ad ever for like the next decade.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, the Heller decision, we've talked about it on here, Heller versus DC. In the Heller decision, essentially Scalia's opinion was somewhere around here. Any law-abiding citizen can own an assault register without having to an assault weapon without having to register them. Now this isn't a perfect summation of his opinion. Scalia's opinion said that the Second Amendment does enshrine an individual right to keep and bear arms, and that, and this is where I break with Scalia. This is where I disagree with Scalia. He made the argument that it is reasonable to restrict the nature of those weapons which can be purchased. And the example he used was we've already outlawed sawed-off shotguns, and I would argue that was unconstitutional. I would argue that the Brady Bill was unconstitutional, and so are all forms of gun registry or even background checks. In fact, I would go so far as to argue that the disarmament of felons is unconstitutional unless you're willing to make the argument that felons should be stripped of all rights guaranteed by the Constitution, which argument I am actually comfortable with. I'd be happy to strip them of their citizenship and kick them out of the country. But to be clear, this furthest to the left, only police and government officials can legally have guns. This position over here, this is not the far left position toward which the current Democrat Party is creeping. No, this is the dissenting opinion on the Heller case. The official opinion of record of the Supreme Court justices which opposed Scalia on Heller is that there is no individual right to keep and bear arms. This is where they're working for.
Yep. And don't kid yourself. Don't. We're not trying to take your guns. Well, they're trying to take at least some of the guns. And don't kid yourself. The one that I am the most concerned about is the universal background checks required for all gun purchases and transfers. Well, you can't have that one without the one that immediately comes behind it. How the hell are you going to track every gun in the country unless you have a database of every gun in the country?
No, the question is, since we understand that the objective is confiscation, and it is no longer possible for a Democrat to say, no one is coming for your guns. They've been saying that for years. And Barack Obama said that exact sentence on several occasions. Look, nobody's coming for your guns. But the stuttering communist can no longer say that with a straight face. At a bare minimum, we know that every single debater on that stage, every single Democrat presidential hopeful right now, wants to take your guns away.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been the objective. It always has been, and this is something that guys like us warn about. I mean, you got to understand that if you have a right, it's absolute. And if you give the state the authority to do something, it's absolute. We've used the example before. You could theoretically be killed over not wearing your seatbelt. Well, why? Well, because we make the seatbelt thing law. You get a ticket, you refuse to pay the ticket, you refuse to go to jail, and you resist the cops when they show up to try and drag you to jail. You could conceivably get shot and killed over a $50 seatbelt ticket. And that's the way all laws work. It's why I'm so hesitant to give the state any power, because I understand that really on paper you give them this much power, but in reality they actually automatically have this much power, just period.
Yes, every conceit in law to government authority is an assent to your lawful execution without a judge or jury in every single case. If there is a so the way you've just described it's important to conceptualize that from the if you don't buckle up, or rather you buckle up because it's a good idea, sure. But from a strictly legal perspective, you buckle up because if you don't buckle up, you'll get a ticket. You pay the ticket if you get it, because if you don't pay the ticket, you'll go to jail. You go to jail because if you don't go to jail, then you get shot.
Yeah, like guys with weapons and armor and badges will show up at your house and they're going to force you to do something.
But at each level of compliance, your compliance is predicated on the assumption that non-compliance is eventually tantamount to execution.
Yes.
That is the case with absolutely every law that is codified. That's one of the reasons that laws of affirmative nature, like you will purchase health insurance or be shot, are so terrible. You know, thou shalt not murder other people or will murder you back. That's okay. Because frankly, if there wasn't a law that says thou shalt not murder other people or will murder you back, you still would be hesitant to murder other people because somebody loves them and they'll murder you back.
Yep.
But the government, the healthcare law is a great example in making an affirmative claim. The healthcare law is different than car insurance, because in car insurance it's buy car insurance or you shouldn't drive on the road, and if you do, we'll murder you. The health insurance thing is we will murder you unless you buy health insurance.
Yep.
Uncontingent upon any other activity. Okay, that's a tangent. We went into the whole firearms thing. That was a terrible tangent. This is me more Monday. And here's the thing. Beto Male O'Rourke, this guy that's on the screen right now, this guy,
AstroTurf piece of shit,
this absolute turd, this dirt munching,
skateboard riding, DUI having, criminal trespassing,
burglar, this criminal wants to sit in the White House
and tell you what to do with your liberties. Because he's smarter than you. See, he's got it all figured out. Shh, no, trust me, honey, trust me. You're supposed to be progressive. It's better for everybody.
So Beto for president? Yeah.
Hey, real quick before we go, you know the White House is supposed to drop its gun control proposals this week.
Yeah.
Is Trump going to troll him? Is he going to do what he did last time and go, fine, I give you your red flag laws. You give me all the money for the wall. That's my guess. At least that's my hope. Because man, as much advantage as the president has right now because of this cock knocker right here, he'll sacrifice it all if he just accedes to their demands. He'll be buying into their linguistic propaganda. And I'd like to think that President Trump is just too smart for that. I think he's going to give him another poison pill.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Maybe. We'll have to see what happens. I'm hoping that he takes advantage of the fact that the left has gone so far insanely to the left on gun control and just starts to point that out. And I mean, what we need to run with is, look, there will be no compromise because you will not tolerate a compromise. Just like, I've said 1,000 times, we have Donald Trump, who is imperfect and flawed and vulgar and crass, precisely because the Democrat will not tolerate a choir boy in the White House. You run a good man, and Romney was a good man, is a good man on paper. He's garbage. I hate Romney. I hated him when he ran for president because he's so milquetoast and weak. But as far as being the things that the Democrats say they want in a president, as far as personality and presentability and a certain candor, that was Romney. And they crucified him as a monster.
Yeah, he's a guy that looks like he smells good. And somehow he became a bad guy.
Okay, so anyway, Beto, nope. Go on home, son. It's been a pleasure. You have a good life, and for my viewers out there, y'all have a great day. Be safe out there on the road. Get to work, get home, and we'll see you tomorrow for Taco Tuesday.
All right, man. I'm hanging up.